Welcome everyone to Real Talk. My name is Jeff Clay. I'm the lead pastor here at Redemption City. And today my special guest is Aunalie Parsons. She's head of our Compassions ministry here at Redemption City. And this year she has got her first time local license. So she is a local pastor here at Redemption City. Welcome, Aunalie.
Thank you.
Aunalie, why don't you tell everyone who you are, your husband, kids, all that, so we can get a little picture of who you are.
Sure. My name is Aunalie. I have been with Redemption City Crossroads for 13 years now. I started at our old building in 1992 with Obed's Nazarene, and then went there for my entire youth group area, and then I left there when me and Eric got married. And then we ran into Kendra Dixon and ended up coming back to Crossroads. I became Compassions leader in 2015 with Pastor Rob. So I've been doing it for about 6 years now. Eric will be ordained next year in January. And then we have Jamie and Christopher. Jamie and Christopher both help out in the youth department. Jamie has also gotten his local licensed pastor's license, and I just, I love doing Compassions. It's my heart. So
yeah, pray for Aunalie because she and Eric are youth pastors here, and teens. You gotta love them, right?
Yes.
But I got 3 of them, so I pray for you all. In fact, no, we have a wonderful youth group. You guys are doing great. I'll tell you, one of the neatest things for me is I've been in ministry for 20 years now. Hard to believe, but I've never seen a youth group so involved and active in our worship, so involved and active in our church. Every Sunday they sit up front and they're worshiping or dancing or laying on the floor or whatever. And I think that shows a lot about you and Pastor Eric's leadership. And you all have done such a great job with them and with my kids. And it's just been exciting because you don't see that normally. Normally, teenagers are sitting in the back and their arms are crossed and like, yeah, I'm too cool,
right. Right.
But even the cool kids are up there worshiping and sitting up front. And I like that that's the atmosphere and the tone that we're setting here at Redemption City. So I'm really proud of what y'all are doing. So that's exciting. Okay, Compassions. Okay, what got you into Compassions? Where does the love come from? Why'd you want to get into it? Like, let everyone kind of hear your heart and what Compassions means to you.
So Compassions, it's always been close to me. But when Scott asked me to take it over, he said, pray for about a week and see. And I just knew that I've always had a passion that I want to be the hands and feet of Jesus. And especially now in the world that we live in, there's so many people that are hurting out there, and they just need someone to come to them and to show them love. And they need it without restrictions and without, strings. And they just, I do love, God has shown me so much grace and mercy that if I can show anybody an ounce of that, it's worth it. So
yeah. What does Compassions look like here at Redemption City?
Compassion, we do a lot of things. We do the clothing closet. We have a kids' clothing closet that ranges anywhere from birth to teenagers. We also have a food pantry. We have baby, diapers, bottles, anybody that's in a need, for children or babies, we definitely can help them out. But we also go over and beyond that. We do, there's a funeral for somebody in the church or, even outside the church. We'll supply a week's worth of meals for them. I also send out all the cards for birthdays and anniversaries. So there's a lot. This past Thanksgiving, we were able to bless 17 families with Thanksgiving meals. So it's just being there for the community and for the people when they need it the most.
And that's been a change because now we're in a different location, different city even. And so there becomes the pressure of how do we get involved in this community and the surrounding communities and start making an imprint, here and an impact and so when you did the 17 communities for Thanksgiving, that was exciting for us to hear that and to celebrate with you. And then this year, why don't you tell them a little bit about what you're doing with our tree and what's happening with the MAC kids and.
Yep, we're partnering with the MAC school, and we have a Christmas giving tree where everybody is sponsoring a child. Each children have 3 wishes, and everybody's sponsoring a wish to present a Christmas gift to the kids. So each kid will get 3 gifts, and it's just being able to align with the MAC school and show these kids, love of Jesus through things that we can donate in, our time. So.
I already saw some gifts under the tree, and I'm like, all right, this is getting exciting.
Yes, all kids were quickly picked up, and wishes were all granted. So
that's exciting.
Very happy.
Yeah, that's very exciting. And those are some of the things that we're excited about is partnering with MAC or with other places here in the area because, the church gets stuck within the 4 walls too many times. And it becomes very natural just to come in Sunday morning or Wednesday night or whenever we're doing it, and then we forget that we're called to a greater community.
Right.
And that's what I love about your heart and what you're wanting to do. What are some things in the future that you're wanting to do?
My biggest thing right now that I really want to be is more mobile. A lot of people out there are hurting and they need stuff, but they don't have transportation or they don't have ways to get around. So my dream would be to have mobile to where a vehicle that we can take out, and people can shop on the truck or, for clothes that they need for their children or just be more hands-on in the community. And like you said, getting outside of the 4 walls. It's great that we have it here and that people can come here and shop and stuff like that. But to get out into the community and take things to them is, I think, really where you're going to see the biggest difference. So.
That'd be interesting. That would be kind of neat to see you out there and have a vehicle wrapped with Compassions, Redemption City Compassions, or whatever, and going into different cities and doing it. How cool would that be? I mean, that just kind of that gets you excited for what it could really look like, you know, and getting it outside of even the building. And our building's a little weird because we're so far off the road that sometimes it's hard to see where we're at and everything, which limits to.
Right.
So then that gets rid of all the limitations or anything that people may have. Or, I don't know how I would feel driving up and coming into a church and, when we're able to go there and meet with them, it makes it just more comfortable.
Right. And a lot of people are already hurting. So to afford gas to get to, this area when they're maybe up north is a lot. So they have to pick their battles, and sometimes, they can't just get out and go due to medical or, health reasons too. So to be able to go to them, I think would be the key.
My wife's been dreaming, and she's going to kill me for even saying this, but she's been dreaming about doing a medical thing to be able to help people with medical. We have a family, JJ and Anna. Anna's a doctor, and maybe that would be something we could do together. How cool would that be to have medical and a place, and we're traveling and we're helping. And, I mean, that could be something that would be, you don't hear anybody doing that.
Right.
And that would be a great way for us to serve our community. So if she watches this, she'll probably kill me, but that's all right. But I just think it would be
we all have dreams, so speak them into existence.
Get them out there. And I'm just excited about what God can do in that and through you, and really seeing what it's like to be the hands and feet. So tell us about your story. Were you raised in the church, not raised in the church? You ever been what? I mean, I want people to hear your heart and see what Compassions is, but I also want people to know Aunalie has a story, and not the full story, but what story does Aunalie have? Because people look at us and they just assume we're perfect. And
right.
I don't know about you, I'm not perfect by any means.
What?
And
so I definitely grew up in the church. My parents were very involved in Obet's Nazarene, which was in our old building. Like I said, I started going there when I was 12 years old, very involved in the youth group. I was very blessed to have Jim and Tammy as my youth leaders, and Brad and Lori. And they, along with my parents, really shaped who I am today. Gave me that love for God and showed me that I can have a relationship with God, a personal relationship. So I'm very thankful for that. We stepped away from the church. I met Eric online. He was going to Ohio State University, and that was in 1997. And then I graduated high school in 98. We kind of stepped away from the church, ran into Kendra Dixon at a local market, and found out that she was going to the church, which is our old church building, which was right down where we lived from, like right down the street. So we ended up going back. 2009, we were blessed with a little boy, Chance, who passed away. And I think it was right around that time that I regave my life to Christ. We were going through a lot of stuff, and that's where I saw the most grace in my life. From my husband, from my family, from God. It just really taught me that, no matter what you go through in life, that God's got you. And, bearing Chance, that was like one of the hardest things, as a parent that you can go through. But I knew. I knew when I laid him back in that casket for the last time that God was going to change my world. And he did. He used Chance there were several people that gave their life to Christ right at Chance's funeral. And not only that, but, it's God used our story as a testimony to help others. And I think that's where I really knew where my heart was, and that compassions, and that people are going through so much in the world that we don't know about, and we don't know what everybody walks through. But we know that God has given us so much grace that we can extend that grace to other people, and that love. So if I can just show anybody an ounce of God's love, to show them that somebody out there, no matter what they've gone through, that Jesus is still going to love them no matter what, then that's my passion. So.
When I hear your story, and even, your kids talk about that season of life, a lot of people in that season, when they lose a child, they begin to question, is God real? Why did God allow this to happen? Right. There's all these things. And so then people begin to run away from God. And I find it interesting that in your journey, and even your kids' journey, that God was not something or someone that you blamed, but he was someone that you leaned on to. And your kids talked about the church being there for you all in that season of life. And what was that kind of like, having a support of a church or a body? And because a lot of people don't realize that, like, when they think church, they think of a cult, or they think someone that's just trying to get your money, or, we have all these thoughts. Right. Or we've been hurt by the church. But we don't really get a real good picture of what the church is actually supposed to look like. Right. So could you just give a little picture? Yeah, definitely. I mean, we were very fortunate. Crossroads, I know we're Redemption City now, but Crossroads family is a close family. We still are. And me and Eric were very, very blessed to have over 30-some people in the waiting room. And obviously this was pre-COVID, but, and things like this was allowed. But, we had over 30-some people in the waiting room holding hands in a circle in front of everybody, just praying when Chance came. And I had, Pastor Rob and Cindy stayed with us from the time we went in there until we left, and didn't leave our side. So to have a family that is not like blood family around you, it means so much, because, we would get calls, just, hey, we want to pray for you over the phone.
I remember the doctors telling us that Chance would never kick in my stomach and I would never feel him. We were on the phone with Michael Dixon, and I've learned that this was in a dark period of time in Michael's life, but he stood in faith and he picked up the phone and called us and he prayed over me. And that was the first time that I felt Chance kick in my stomach while Michael was praying. So it's just having that kind of, people around you that constantly were there to lift you up. And it's very important, as believers or non-believers. I mean, we need people to stand in the gap. We need, there are times where you need someone to come along you and just say, you know what, we're going to pray through this. I've got you. And that was the kind of family that we had around us. So, like I said, it just meant the world to us. One little thing, but it's not little in my heart. When we were in the hospital, I wanted to know what color Chance's eyes were because he never opened his eyes. And I was scared because he had already passed and I didn't know, it's all new. And Cindy she was a nurse, and she opened his eyes. And then she went out and bought me a bracelet, the color of his eyes. So it's just like things like that you'll never forget because people came to the funeral and they took Jamie and Christopher out to lunch during the viewing. They took them to the park to get ice cream, like days afterwards. And it's just things like that really showed us that, people cared. And I think that's why when there's like a death in a family, like I want to make sure that we have that person covered because I experienced that love. And
yeah, and that's some of the things that I've noticed that you do well here. I mean, you do a lot of things well, but that's one thing that there's a family that lost someone, just recently without going into it. They don't go to our church. They didn't know who we were. And at the funeral, Jerry was told that they were going up and they couldn't believe how much we loved on them. And you'll never know the impact that you made and that others made as you made them dinners and did things for them. In times that life seems hopeless, I think that's why God gives us the body because there's still hope.
Right.
And I think that's pivotal because what would have happened if the church wouldn't have showed up that day or those weeks? And what would have happened if, the church was silent for you or your kids? Like, you got a son now that's serving in ministry and has a call to do ministry. And his call wouldn't be here in a way if the church wouldn't have showed up.
Right.
Like, what would his view be? Like you just don't know. I mean, he could still be, but it's just interesting that, in the most hopeless time, God still sends people to give you hope.
Yeah.
And it doesn't make it easier. Like there'll never be a day that you may not think of Chance or, you know what I mean? Like, but with God, it makes it sustainable.
Right.
And with a church and people that love you and that pray for you, it just makes it easier.
And I think God, nothing catches God off, with a surprise or, and it's just, everything that I've walked through to where I'm at now, God has strengthened me to make me to who I am now, to where I can share my testimony and share to help other people. So God definitely, he shows up in big ways. Like, for example, I remember standing at the gravesite with Chance years after, and I had other moms, because he's in a baby section, show up, and this one mom was sharing her story of her child and how, her and her husband got a divorce and stuff, and they got into drugs and things like that. And I think when you have a child that has passed away, it does a lot on a marriage and a family, because it's a very dark time in your life, and you want that child back and you can't. So with God, me and Eric were both strong in our faith, and because we had a church body that loved us so much, that I think it has strengthened mine and Eric's marriage to where we're at, 20 some years later now, that we've been married. is because of what the church family poured into us. So, you know, and it's not to say we didn't go through counseling or, you know, but Pastor Rob poured so much into me and Eric during that time that, you know, it really did change us. So.
Counseling helps.
Mm-hmm.
And you have finished some schooling. Why don't you tell them what you finished schooling in?
Well, I've got 2 masters. I've got my master's in counseling and substance abuse counseling. After watching one of our church members pass away due to substance abuse, God told me that I would needed to get my master's, and because the world needs counseling in that area really bad right now. So, and then my second master's is in pastoral care and counseling. So, my dream one day, we're talking about dreams, would be to open up a center for domestic abuse ladies that are going through domestic abuse and for substance abuse. Counseling, a place where they can stay to be safe, and so for them and their children. So
that would be incredible.
Yeah.
And that's why we're excited to start getting involved in Celebrate Recovery next year, and you'll be a major part of that, and, because you know that's something that we can offer here to help the community and help even our own people. Let's be honest. Right. And so that's interesting. I didn't know that about you wanting to open a center and stuff. That would be incredible. If we just got to buy 100-acre land, and we could just put all these things with our building on it, and we could have a conference center, all kinds of things on it. I mean,
several campuses.
Yeah, I mean, it is neat to hear God moving in the hearts of our leadership and our people, because I don't think we really understand what He wants to do in our church, and in us. And when you start hearing these things, you're like, wow, He's got such big plans. Yeah. And it's just exciting to be a part of that.
Yeah, I was once told that you have to be ready for your yes. And that has always stuck with me. We were at Crossroads, and Jim Dixon came up and he says, God told me to tell you that you just need to be ready to say your yes. And I've always been ready. Like, ever since then, like, you know, you always be scared, like, is this what God really wants me to do? Or, you know, but I know without a doubt that God put me on this earth to love people. And my heart is like, if it's making something, or, you know, just going out and buying something or sending something on Amazon that I think you might like, you know, that's just my heart. Like, I just want to love on people and show them that they're special and then that they mean something, and that nobody out there, no matter what you've done in your life, you're not unlovable and you're not worthy of love. And that's just my mission in life, is just to show people, you know, even if it's just send a card, or, you know, just people need it. And it's like the world we live in right now, there's just so many people that just, they don't truly understand how much God loves them. And it's sad, and it's, you know, I just want to, like, say, you know, look what God did for me. And, you know, I'm just Aunalie from Obetz. You know, like, I've lived in this area my entire life and graduated from the school here, and I just, you know, I just, you know, it's nice that people will, you know, send me like a message and be like, you still do the clothes, or, you know, people from high school and stuff, because that's what I want people to know, that, you know, if you need something, just come to me, and if I don't have it, I'll find it, or we'll make a way, or, you know.
I love that. I love that. Well, we made it.
We made it.
Great job. Thank you so much for joining me with Real Talk. There'll be more to come, and you'll be active, and we'll let you know what's going on, obviously, through our Facebook or whatever else is going on, website.
Yes, we do have a Compassions Facebook page too, so you definitely check that out. You can go on there, and I will update on things that we're either collecting for, or if you have a need, you know, definitely reach out to me. I always, you know, welcome texts, phone calls. I don't mind at all.
So how would they find it on Facebook? What would they search?
Redemption City Compassions.
Okay. So check out Redemption City Compassions, and we're excited. Thank you for joining us.